With home prices and interest rates on the rise in Canada, people are looking to enter the real estate market. They're trying to get creative. They're opening up their minds to the concept of fractional ownership. With more on what this is and how it works, we are joined by real estate expert Erica Reddy. Good to have you in studio.
Great to be here.
So this is a term that many people have heard, fractional ownership, but what does it mean?
Such a great question. I feel like when you think fractional ownership, you're like, do I own a fraction of it? How does this work? What does this look like? So there's a more kind of hands-off and hands-on approach to fractional ownership. So you could just almost, I would say, diversify your stock portfolio by owning a couple % of a property. It could be a strip mall, it could be a home, it could be anything. Or you can go very hands-on, whereby you actually own a fraction of it. You touch it, you feel it, you live in it. So let's say we're looking at a property, you would probably be looking at a couple % that you would be actually purchasing the equity stake in. And then from there, you would actually live in the property as if it was yours. You've got the equity in it, and then you would pay effectively almost like a rent to own, an actual structured payment per month while you're residing in the property and building equity.
How does it differ between a rent to own, or is it basically the same thing?
It's actually almost the same thing. So I think fractional ownership and rent to own could really be almost seen as the exact same thing, but fractional ownership, I don't know, maybe sounds fancier.
Maybe. Okay, so break this down for us. Do you have an example?
Absolutely. So we'll look at an example here in Toronto. So it's a condo, downtown Toronto, beautiful condo, 1 bed, 1 bath, situated right in the heart of the city. So this would be, we'll call it kind of, you know, what I would deem like a great starter condo. You'd be looking at a value of about $600,000 on this. So let's say we're looking at our equity share. So you're looking at purchasing that fractional ownership of this property. You'd be looking at about 2.5%, let's say. So about $15,000 to purchase this.
So that's what you'd need. You need cash of $15,000 to put down.
Exactly. So your cash would be the $15,000. And then from there, you'd be looking at probably a blended ownership payment of about $2,400 a month. That would be to live in the property and actually make it your own. So you've got your equity in the property, and then you're paying obviously maintenance, you know, taxes, your share of repairs to own the property and live in it. And then at the end of that term, you could either up your equity, you could put in another share, you could cash out, you could continue. So there's lots of options, but effectively you've got an equity share in the property.
And when you say options, I mean, I'm assuming it is really property specific, right? You can work out the terms of the contract specific to that property.
Absolutely, yeah. And you could own a little bit more, you could do an equity boost. I mean, there's so many permutations to this.
So who is this for?
So I think this is a great opportunity for somebody that maybe is struggling to qualify for a mortgage. So maybe a freelancer, somebody that doesn't necessarily meet the minimum down payment, maybe a one income, you know, household that really wants to tackle the property market but can't do it with the full down payment.
In your opinion, is this a good investment?
I mean, Lindsay, I'm biased. I'm in real estate. What do you think I'm going to say?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, I do. I really think it is, because something, you know, looking to fractional ownership, it gives you the opportunity to get into the market. It gives you the opportunity to get equity in a property. But if you don't have the full down payment, you can still take advantage of getting into the real estate market.
We have to talk about downsides, though, Erica. What are the downsides of this?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest downside would be the market. It's volatile. You don't know if it's going to go up or down. So this is kind of the advice that I feel I practice and preach, but you always want to look at it with a long-term time horizon. 3 years, I would say at minimum, 5, 7, et cetera. The longer you can be in it, the better.
What is the difference between a timeshare and fractional ownership?
Great question, because I actually, when I first thought of fractional ownership, I thought a bit like a timeshare.
That's what I thought.
A timeshare would be you're going on a vacation. Let's say you want to use a property for 2 or 3 weeks. You would buy the timeshare for that period of time, and that would be it. You'd be in the property for those 2 or 3 weeks, and then you'd walk away.
So you don't own it.
Exactly.
You own nothing. There's no fractional ownership at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
Where the fractional ownership, as we've chatted about, you would have that equity share, and then you'd be in that property, living in it. It would be yours. You'd be building equity within it. So very different.
Okay, question with the way that it's structured. So you have entered into this agreement for fractional ownership.
Yeah.
Let's say 5 years passed, and you now want to move. Do you lose the money that you've contributed to that piece of property?
No, and that's because you've been building equity in the property. So at the end of, let's say it was a 5-year term, you could then look at how you would cash out on your equity and hopefully your profits, and then you could move on to, say, another endeavor within the market.
Oh, see, that is a good piece of information to know.
Absolutely.
Erica Reddy, always good to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.